Hey Libra, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. We are doing tarot readings this week. Just tarot readings about anything, general reading, anything you can relate it to. All right. Well, we're talking about a person, you or somebody else. This is from the bottom of the deck. This is going to be overall for the reading. This is Queen of Emotions. A lot of feelings going on, big feelings. They're breaking through the surface. There's a hint on the surface. There might be a little ruffle on the surface about how this person is feeling or how you're feeling. It's a card of self-understanding, knowing how you feel. If someone comes towards you and wants to communicate, they know how they feel, and they're just showing you the tip of the iceberg. You may be communicating and just showing someone the tip of the iceberg. It's not an instruction. It's just about, and the whole reading could just be about trying to understand how you feel about a situation and where you're at emotionally, psychologically. All right. And then over on Vimeo, we're going to be doing relationship readings. I'm calling them extras, not extendeds, because they're not really meant to be an extension of this. They might be, they have in some cases been. But depending on what you identify this as, if this is a relationship reading, it could be an extension of that. So we're going to just be exploring those with my Crow decks, my Crow Tarot and Crow Oracle. So let's continue on with this reading. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. This is wild. This is wild. Okay, so different day. I've done multiple readings between the Leo, Virgo readings and all of that. But we're shuffling. We're getting repeated cards. There's a theme in the collective right now. That's for sure. Okay. In the recent past, we have Knight of Materials. This knight has made the rounds. Everybody knows this knight. This is a plan. Going forward into the future, this is a fantasy. This can definitely be a fantasy. It's all well planned out. It's well thought out. This might be you. This might be somebody else. Somebody has a plan. They might not have spoken a lot about it. It's a very grounded plan, though. That's the thing. It's like our nights are about communication. And so they can be about communication, about feelings, communication about thoughts, communication about all sorts of things. But this night is very practical, we've got hooves on the ground. This is, I think, our only one that, and not just ground, but we got another knight here. Not just on the ground, but like on some lush, fertile soil. There's a lot of possibility with this knight. There's a lot of real possibilities with this plan. Someone has a plan. They have not likely communicated, or this is in the recent past. So someone had a plan, has a dream, but it's not so much a dream. Like our night of inspiration is like, let's go do this. This is like, we are going, this is, in this reading it's coming through as we are going to do this. I don't have questions about it. I have a plan. I may not have communicated the whole plan, but it's real and it's fertile. It can happen. It has the capacity to happen. And in some ways that makes it more important to be more careful with each step, right? We've got these impulsive nights that blurt things out. We've got, nights that clear things up and speak their mind and their heart. But this night, I think, understands the reality, the potential, the realness of the fantasy and the dream or the plan. They understand that it's real. So each step is taken with a little more care because it actually can happen. It's not a theory. It's not an idea. It's not a feeling. These are concrete plans. So there's a care that's taken with this Knight of Materials in moving forward and planning out and going according to the plan. So your current situation is the Hermit card, which everybody has gotten. Again, it's so strange and fascinating, and I love it, but I'm also disturbed by it. So the Hermit card, what do you want? And that's a lot of this card, is how do you feel? What do you want? What's your next step? It's the Prudence card, so it's being very cautious, very careful. The Hermit card used to be called the Prudence card. And you can see out in this desert, there's a reason to be prudent. We don't want to be guzzling all of our water, you know. Oh, I'm thirsty. Gulp, 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 gulp. Well, how much did you bring? Well, so there's a sense of taking careful steps, and also wanting to know, this is a vision quest. What is your vision? What is your vision for the future? What do you want? And what are your next steps? This might be you back here with an overall plan, with an overall idea and fantasy, and wanting to be careful with the next steps, right? Or this could be someone else. And then this is the Hermit. Taking steps as an individual. What do you want your life to look like? Not as part of a couple or part of a group or we are all part of those things just by the fact that we exist, you know. You exist, so you're part of a neighborhood because you have to exist in time, in space somewhere. So what's your environment? So we have all of these things, but the Hermit leaves that behind or discards that information or that idea for a while, for a time, to be in this space of really examining and possibly even re-examining what they want, how they feel about something. And this is without obligation. You're not obligated to feel certain things. This is why the Hermit is depicted with nobody around them. There's not a lot of influence. There's not a lot of, with this next step, with this next decision, or with where you're being asked to be is like going solo. And finding your own truth. This step has to satisfy you, primarily. Do you want that? Is this part of your path? Is this what your soul is calling you to do? It's a little bit of a serious card, right? Because this isn't the party card. This isn't the hanging out with friends and having fun card. This is the, like, seriously, what do you want? And there might be a decision that needs to be made, but there is a sense of needing, you know, we're each here alone in a lot of ways, to make our own lives and to make our own path and to make our own way. We're not here for the sole purpose of pleasing others, or that can be your purpose of helping others, which isn't the same as pleasing them. But yeah, this has to do with some real, like, inner work, not being here to be a prop for other people. You're not asking anybody what they think you should do. I mean, you might as part of the process of figuring out what you think you should do, but that's not going to be your guiding force, is anyone other than you. All right, so then in your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, we have the 7 of materials. You'd like to stay on track with something. You might be contemplating, should I quit? Should I keep going? It looks like you're trying to stay on track. You are on track. You're doing the work. You're moving forward. 7 of materials is always like is always the card of, you know, hold them or fold them. What do you want to do here? Like, you want to wait this out? Do you want to see what happens next, or do you want to bail? I think you're wanting to wait and see what happens next. But it might be getting tiresome. You might be deploying patience. Go patience, because I'm feeling impatient. It is the card of impatiently patient. So that's how you feel. Is there are questions here of stay on track, or, you know, jump ship. So I'm a big fan of quitting. It makes room for other things in our lives, things that aren't working for us, or we're no longer, you know, don't quit something that makes you happy. If you're a knitter and you haven't achieved like renowned knitter status, don't quit knitting unless you hate knitting and you're not getting anything out of it, practically or emotionally or spiritually, right? But continue knitting if you enjoy it, no matter if you haven't won any awards and aren't some sort of national gold medal knitter, right? So this is applies to a lot of different things. Yeah. It's a ridiculous example, but it's also applies to everything. If you like running, but you're not like really developing a great running career, keep running if you like running. And the results don't matter. Like, okay, so I kind of see like this fantasy or this idea of where things were going to go and how things were going to turn out. But now you're really, with these two coming out together, you're really in the space of, do I like doing this? Is this something I like? Because you might have the option to bail on this dream, on this fantasy. And so this is like, should I stay or should I go kind of question here coming up. And no one can answer that besides you. But I would say that if you enjoy doing it, stick with it, even if the results you haven't seen the results that you were hoping for yet. Still stick with something because simply because it brings you joy. And that's what you're being asked to question. Am I doing this for, the proverbial likes? Or am I doing this because I actually really enjoy doing this? And I think there can be a sense of like, I've always enjoyed doing this. This is part of the plan. And there are times to do that stuff. That's part of the plan. That's part of that you don't necessarily love doing, but it is part of getting where you want to go. But if it's not very productive and you're not going where you want to go, that's where the questions start to come in of, is it productive or do you enjoy it? And those are two questions that hopefully combine sometimes, but also like if the answer is largely no to either one of those things, then consider quitting, right? And making room for something that you enjoy more or is more productive. So what's the issue here is the Empress. So this could be a lack of self-confidence here. Not sure you can do this. Right here, you're contemplating sort of your own North Star. Here you have that North Star, that inner beacon. It's funny, these terms, where do they come from? Within, you're not seeing it perhaps, or you're not feeling like you have what it takes, or something isn't, with the 7, sitting next to the 7 of materials, it really looks like something isn't very productive or isn't providing you with the resources that you want. And so this question starts to come in, do I want to keep doing this even though it's not productive? You're not in Empress energy. So this could denote like a sense of insecurity, not feeling like you're enough, not having enough, sometimes we generally just don't have enough time or enough money to continue on with something or a project or something like that. So there are questions, you're questioning whether you have what it takes to move forward, to keep going on this. And by what it takes is like, is it worth it for you? If you're depleted in some way, is there something that you're doing that isn't productive or isn't part of what you want to do? And so there's a question here because there's something that hasn't been abundant. Right, and we have you actually out in the desert. It hasn't been abundant. And the lack of abundance, and the lack of an abundance of likes or an abundance of income from something or an abundance of response, and the lack of abundance, do you still want to keep going or not? How much do you enjoy the process? In your environment, you have the Devil card. So something that's hard to quit, something that maybe controls you, you feel beholden to, something that you feel an obligation. There's a sense with this Devil card that maybe like, are you being controlled or are you the controller? And there's a sense that it might be confusing. There might be a contract in your environment, that would be where it binds both people. Oh yeah, I was just talking last night with someone about agreements that we make that we feel bound to. Did you make a promise? Did you make an agreement and you're being held to it? Is it this Knight of Materials with this plan that's not, that you're not sure you can do it? Does someone come to you with a contract, a longer term contract? There's just something in your environment that I want to say might be confusing. It's not clear who has the upper hand or who's playing who. It might be difficult to get out of. You might be feeling stuck in a situation. Controlled, addicted, not able to help yourself, or feeling like you can't help yourself. There is a way out. There's a doorway out of this. There's a way out, but it's small and hard to see. Narrow. It's very narrow. And it could feel like the end of something. It will be the beginning of something, but that's just the promise and the hope. But the path to freedom from this feels narrow. And it will change you. You'll have to change. Someone around you could also be dealing with some sort of addiction issues or some sort of prior contract or something like that. That it's going to be hard to get out of. I'm hearing like a camel through the eye of a needle kind of difficulty. It can be done. I mean, we say it can be done. It's just hard. Really hard. And there might be a trick to it. There might be something, especially for an individual, there might be a sort of a thing that person needs to do, and they have to find that thing and then change and adapt to that thing. Yeah, devil energy is always interesting because it can be so many things that bedevil us and make things unclear, make things more difficult than we think they should be, or make it unclear who's controlling who or who's got the power in a situation, or even how to get out of the situation. So once someone started something, it's interesting because you can be both the initiator and then also then later stuck. So your to-do list is Judgment, or they call it Awakening here. I don't think you can force an awakening, so as a to-do list it's a little goofy, but a realization, and allow the realization to change you and transform you. It could come in very surprisingly, shockingly. This feels a bit like a tower moment. It's interesting because it's like a death tower, or an ego tower, or there could be something from the past coming back here that you can do differently. You can learn from it. Are we going to redo the whole thing? I'm not sure. If there's an opportunity to, you're going to be redoing it from a completely different mindset and a completely different understanding. But this is an epiphany that comes in and changes you and transforms both how you speak and how you feel. It's sort of like at the end of a process. And it's this aha moment that kind of clarifies the past and gives you new ideas for heading towards the future. And it could be part of a redo, a do-over. But now now the do-over has so much more information, right? People say like, oh, would you go back to would you ever go, what was the question? Would you ever like go back to high school with all the information you have now? Or like have $1 million? It's like $1 million, obviously, like that solves a lot of the problems, but that maybe started back then. But like with everything you have now, if you went back there and understood, like the people judging you are just as crappy, if not worse than you. So-and-so is going to end up in jail for 20 years. And so, and they're making fun of you right now, or, there's like, or, here you are so cocky and so sure of yourself only to like stumble the first couple steps out of high school and fall flat on your face and break your nose, right? So there's a sense of you might not be doing it over again, but if you do restart this or do it over again, there's so much more information that you have, and you've had a lot of the realizations and a lot of the understandings and growth that you would need to do this. It's interesting that it sits under the Hermit here. I mean, there's some good major arcana here. We have the Hermit, Awakening or Judgment, the Devil, and the Empress. And then we've got 3 people: Knight of Materials, Knight of Inspiration, and Queen of Emotions. So there's almost like a sense of working together. This could be about anything, because we've got like materials, inspiration, emotions. Yeah, there's plenty to work with here as far as guiding your understanding of what something could be. Overall, though, we do have the Queen of Emotions, so it could be a relationship or any kind of relationship, not like a relationship. So then we have Knight of Inspiration is where you're headed. Knight of Inspiration, Knight of Inspiration is like impulsive movement, quick movement. It's a knight. It communicates very impulsively, very passionately, emphatically, like an explosion. Like here, see, the cards are designed to be similar, right? We have this slow growing succulent. It has a plan. It has a pattern. We have like the fertile ground here, where each step could actually come into something. There's actually a real life plan. Versus this one, this is an explosion. This says boom. This says nothing. I mean, they look similar, but they're not, right? This is a real plan, and this is boom, a big sound, a big noise. They're both moving forward, but one appears to be moving forward so fast. And this one the Knight of Materials has a little bit of brakes on it. It almost seems like, looks more like it's coming to a stop here to think about the next leg. And this one does not look like it could stop even if it wanted to. So possible outcome or possible where you're going is that somebody comes in with an explosive, impulsive communication. It might be loud, it might be shocking, it might be surprising. This could be you communicating something loud, shocking, and surprising, or it could be somebody else. It could come with the awakening. It could be part of you understanding something, as someone coming in with like new communication that's really shocking and surprising. And then you see something and understand. This awakening is like understanding something from your past. And I don't think it's, as a to-do list, it's kind of goofy, because you receive the awakening, you receive the epiphany, you receive the understanding. But your job is to just be receptive to it and allow it to change you and shift you. So I feel like these two this Knight of Inspiration could be like a booming, sudden communication that changes you, and your job is to just be the fertile soil that this seed of understanding can be planted in, or the seed of communication. Okay, so then I was getting out what I'm calling synchronicity cards. They have other messages too, but these are things to look for to help you see, to give you a sense that you're in the right place at the right time and you're exactly where you're meant to be. Eagle spirit, freedom. So I think freedom needs to come in with this Hermit card here, being free to choose your path, not the path that's expected of you, but your path. So also looking for eagles, understanding that, seeing an eagle should just help you understand I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm exactly where I need to be. Also, if you see a Pegasus, that would be another indication. Water spirit, manifesting dreams. This is about work, this usually. But otters, if you see otters, there's a river here. But manifesting dreams is putting in the work, which I think you've been doing, is putting in some work towards something that maybe even this Hermit card is like, this is a vision only you have. This is something only you have. No one else can see this vision. And I'm seeing that with this here. No one else can see this vision other than you. It's your vision. And maybe you already have it. Maybe this isn't so much seeking it as like understanding that I'm the only one that knows this. I'm the only one that sees where this is going. And that's okay. I can live with being the only one. No one else is believing in this dream except for me. And that's okay. And having the freedom to pursue what it is you want to pursue, or take the very unique path that you have, whether anyone joins you on it or not, or even cares whether you're on it or not. So water spirit manifesting dreams, this is about doing work, working towards a goal. And you're questioning whether I should work towards this goal or not, continue working towards this goal, even though no one else seems to believe in it or see it. And this is like, yeah, do it. You do have this vision. Do keep working on it. That's really funny because I feel like this is coming through as the Hermit card, and this is coming through as the Seven of Materials. So keep going, keep working on it card. Raven spirit truth. This could be the explosive thing coming in, but it's definitely this thing. So looking for ravens, we're about to pop open the Corvid deck over in the Vimeo. So a raven, a red dress, truth though. This is truth coming in, and it might just be a realization about yourself and your own truth. It could be coming in from someone else. It could be very impulsive, intuitive communication that comes in. If someone's telling you something kind of impulsively or something, I would be predisposed to believe them at this point, if they're part of whatever scenario I've described here. Butterfly spirit transformation. We have the Venus in the clamshell. I feel this is a very Libra card because it is Venus. Libras are ruled by Venus. And a situation changing, perhaps you changing. This awakening is meant to change you. This realization, this truth that comes in is meant to change you. And so also looking for butterflies, looking for clams, pearls. Understanding those as messages for you. Also feel like this has this the same sort of vibe here, this emergence from, right? I feel like we could have a clam in here for sure. Some clams and this pearls, this Queen of Emotion might have these. So transformation, change. I think the truth is going to change you, or some sort of communication is going to change you. All right. And then a little prayer. And then join me on Vimeo if you want or not. Devoted dog. Honesty, faithfulness, dependability. I think we're considering this right here. Dependability. Loyal and faithful friend of man. Protect and guide me between the worlds. Maybe this transformation, protection through these changes and this transformation. Also, there's a lot of worlds on this one. So maybe, feeling vulnerable or worried, and here comes this dog to protect you. In this time. All right, I hope that was helpful. Join me over on Vimeo if you'd like. I charge a small fee just to honor the energy exchange. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys in a month. Ciao.